Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Town of Cedar Lake Unsafe Building Department meeting for April 16th to order at 5:30 p.m. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Wojcik?
Here.
Mr. Keel?
Here.
Mr. Deutmeyer?
Here.
Mr. Oshie?
Present.
Mr. Eldridge is absent. Mr. Conley?
Here.
Mr. Gatto?
Here.
Ms. Tigas is present.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to item 1 of active unsafe, 9320 West 142nd Avenue, Northwest Indiana, Casas LLC.
Good evening.
Hello. Name and address for the record, please.
Junior Martin, 2701 West 45th Avenue, Gary, Indiana, 46408.
All right. Would you like to give us a little update, Mr. Martin?
Yeah, so you got Tony's email response as far as the demo being complete. And so there were a couple of things that you highlighted. The well being one of them, which you would just have to, it has been since the very beginning of this process. And then also the sewer, which I've reached out to the sewer department, and they're supposed to be going out there. I'm just waiting for them to get back with me. And then utilities, obviously have all been discontinued. The only question, that I had, there were two other, with regards to the last two items that get on here. I mentioned having to, I guess, seed the area where the demo was, had taken place, and I just wanted to get a little bit more clarity on that. We left the blueprint of the foundation, for future buildings, and which was initially a crawl space, and so there's a slight elevation, obviously because of the cinder blocks above ground. So are you saying that area has to be filled in with dirt and then seeded, until we start building there?
The email had stated all the demo requirements. I'll have to find that email again, but I mean, it lists in there removing the foundation, returning the grade to, something that is not a hole, which I don't believe there would be there. It was basically on grade. But yeah, I'd say removing the remainder of the foundation and seeding what's there.
Did you hear that?
I did hear that. So my understanding was that we were allowed to leave the foundation there because removing the foundation completely, greatly complicates the rebuild process.
I don't recall that conversation. Foundation good? Hard to say.
Hey Tony, how is the foundation on that?
We'd have to see what the depth is to see if it's got an actual footing that's at or below frost line or not, so that would be a determining factor, really.
How soon could we get that figured out? Because I know in the past, ones with basements, they were left in fill if they were going to be reused. I just wonder on this one, since it was a crawl, on how that would work.
He wants to dig up a couple spots and verify the depth, or call us out there to verify depth. We've had to do that on garages and whatnot that, people wanted to add to. We had to see if it actually had a footing below frost line or not. So we could do the same thing there, and it would be your decision on where to go from there.
Is that something you can have arranged, Mr. Martin, as far as getting out there and digging some spots for Tony to come out and inspect?
Yes, yeah, of course.
You good with that, Tony?
Foundation, then I guess it's a viable foundation, and that would be.
Yeah, I would hate to see them tear it up if it's something that could be used, if they chose to go with the crawl, if it is adequate depth.
Sure.
So.
Okay. No, we can definitely take care of that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you should be able to get that handled by next meeting, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so I would imagine, we'd be looking for a 30-day deferral on this, John?
Yes, sir. Yep. We'll make a motion.
And then there was just one other, point again on here that I just wanted to get clarity on. It speaks about well abandonment, and I just want to clarify, because obviously the well's capped. We would be, using that well again once once we begin to build there, so does the well have to be abandoned, or what does?
No,
I read the attachment, but I didn't quite understand.
Included that information just for your knowledge. I don't know what your plans are.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense then.
But this is when the house was still standing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So it's the one where you vacant lot?
Yeah, and so we did see a photo before where it was down, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
All right,
So just make a motion to give them an additional 30 days?
all right, we have a motion, for 30-day deferral. I will second that. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Wojak?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes, motion carries 2-0. Thank you, Mr. Martin. And then if you could just, get with Tony once you get that, dug up in a few spots. Tony, would you like 3, 4 spots? What do you think on,
One spot on each of 3 walls would be fine.
you hear that?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay, item number 2, 13947 Hobart Street, Griswold. All right. Loading. Do we have anything on this other than the photos that's the ones that you sent, right?
Well, Cheryl said she's been reaching out to him and hasn't gotten any responses.
Trying to switch back and forth from the thing to the emails to see, that was the one you just sent, right, Tony?
Right, yep.
What's your thoughts? I mean, is the debris still there now, or?
Minimal. There's still some debris, depending on how well you want it cleaned up, I guess. There's some footing still laying in the hole, there's random cinder blocks, there's some,
It's pretty much the same the last time we looked at it,
parts.
right?
Yeah, I don't know if it was, maybe just a slightly
Yeah.
cleaned up, like the metal scrap is gone, I think that's about it. So, I don't know, it's still.
But nevertheless, no contact.
Structure. What's that? Oh, no contact, no.
Yeah.
No, the structure is gone, no contact with him, so.
As far as the demo permit goes with that, Tony, then is this pretty much just clean up the remaining debris and seed?
I mean, he's got not a basement foundation hole or anything, but there's still a hole there that he's gotta grade out and then seed.
Yeah. Not terrible, maybe
No.
less than a foot?
Right.
Yeah, for sure. It's
Okay.
almost gonna be overgrown soon, so.
Or was there a number for Mr. Griswold at all, or that we had?
I emailed him twice, because I had heard back from him prior with emails.
Okay.
And I emailed him twice, just this last time.
Try one more time on the phone and,
I'll double check
Certified
if
mail or
we have a
something?
number for him, I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you do.
In the database,
okay.
I'll look.
Yeah, if you do, just, reach out and then keep us posted. Looking for another 30 on that.
Okay, we'll just go ahead and make a motion for another 30 days on that, property.
All right, I will second that. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Wojak?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 2-0. Item number 3, 12611 Klein Avenue, Kubiak Properties.
Good evening.
I know this
Hello.
guy.
Yeah.
Tim Kubiak, 9080 West 129th Place, Cedar Lake. Believe it or not, we finally have electric back there to the building. So, the lights are there, they're being put up, so hopefully we'll have it lit up and at least get that accomplished, so. It's been a long battle to get it out there, they had to redo the lines all the way back, cut down trees, and it's been a nightmare, but.
Now, you were gonna do cameras also personally for your guys',
Yeah, that's the intent, so we're gonna get lights around and then try to get some cameras wherever, you know, people are coming in and out. Unfortunately, I went back there the other day to take the lights back there, and somebody was back there in a truck and just drove through the ditch and went back there because the fence was gone. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but
That was gonna be my next question. Are you seeing activity back there?
that was it. I mean, I've been back there quite a bit, and I haven't seen anything other than that, so, but it's hard to, you know, I mean, it's hard to say. The building's still locked up, and nobody's been
Do you have no trespassing signs around the outside
everywhere.
and
There's
everything?
a big giant one on the building,
What about on the outside off the Klein and everything like that?
there's one on the gate, there's about
Like,
6 of
yeah.
them up the driveway, so
Okay.
there's quite a few from
I
everywhere.
saw a couple of kids walking there with fishing poles, I was like,
Yeah, so, yeah, so hopefully the cameras and that's gonna help, but we're making headway. So that was a major undertaking, getting the power back on back there.
well, that wasn't your fault, that was,
Well, yeah, it just took forever, but we finally are making progress, so that's a good sign.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get them lights on, and then we're gonna work on replacing that gate, and then I don't know if we're gonna have to reestablish that ditch along Klein a little bit deeper, so you can't just drive through, you know, or something.
Yeah.
That's probably gonna be the case, that the previous people dug, you know, kind of a deeper thing there, so you couldn't just drive through, you know, so I think that's gonna have to be the plan, I guess, to keep people from just driving around. So working on it, the grass is starting to grow, so that'll be next.
Yeah.
so we continue,
Yeah, I'm trying
we know
to,
this is a long process.
this is gonna be a long process on this one.
Yeah, you hate to have them keep coming back for this,
Yeah.
even though you're here all the time.
Yeah, but-
I mean, I'll be here, but yeah, like I said, I guess, I mean, I wanna be, you know, I mean, I wanna get the lights done and at least achieve that part of the request, you know, so, I mean, I'll come back next month and we should have them on and get some cameras up there and at least we'll be making progress, so.
So, would you be fine with, 30 days coming back if we
Yeah,
just
that's
deferred
what
it till
Like I
then?
said, I wanna achieve what I said I was going to, so.
Yeah, okay. And then we can maybe think longer term
I was
later
thinking
on.
maybe,
once
yeah,
it's-
let's go longer.
You know, just so it's still on the radar kind of
No,
thing.
that'd be great, but I wanna, you know, I mean, I wanna complete what I said I was going to, and then we'll take it from there.
All right, we'll just make a motion on that. Or you
Okay.
just wanna just extend it or make a motion?
Yeah.
All right, we'll make a motion to extend another 30 days for the property on Klein.
All right, I will second that. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wojak?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 2-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to 13333 Lamore Street, McLean. Good evening.
How you doing?
Good.
How you doing, sir?
Name and address for the record, please.
David McLean, 133 West Lakeview Drive, Lowell, Indiana.
All right, you have an update for us?
Yes, we've got, we started on the foundation, we've got permits pulled, that's already going and moving forward. Actually, I'm hoping they're probably gonna be done with the foundation work, end of next week, should be pretty close. So that's already been going, reshored everything up, filling in the foundation a little bit, pouring a new slab. So taking care of all the foundation work, we ordered new windows, we'll be framing, proper window openings that are required for all the bedrooms, it'll be getting re-sided and, getting moving on the project, so.
Okay, so you have the remodel permit then? Or-
Not the remodel
Not-
permit, just the foundation permit for now.
Okay,
We're still, the plan's just about finished for what we're doing with the upstairs, but I did already order windows and kinda started stocking some materials
yeah.
to get going on it, so as soon as they're done, we'll be ready to move forward with the rest of it.
About a time frame. When do you think you'd be able to come in and get that, permit pulled if everything's satisfactory with the building department?
Next week is my plan. to
Okay.
pull the permit.
So I would think, if that's the case, then if you can get that next week and come in and everything's satisfactory with the building department, then if we did a deferral for 30 days, that I would think that at that meeting, if he comes in and gets the permit, then we could defer it right now until then.
All right.
And then if he does have it, he just would not need to appear in 30 days, and we would just have it removed, because then it would be in the hands of the building department.
Pretty much.
So we'll defer it now, and then if, that way you wouldn't have to come back, unless for some reason you did not, get the proper permits pulled.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great to me.
So,
Okay, we'll do a 30 day or just a?
yeah, 30 days,
30
just
days.
that way, just, 'cause that does give them time, just
Okay.
bearing, you know.
All right, I'll make a motion that we'll deter the, property on Lemoore Street for additional 30 days.
All right, and would you like to add also that if he does come in and get the permit,
Yeah.
that, we get notified from the building department and we'll, you know, make the motion at the next time he doesn't need to.
In the motion, then we'll say if you do get the permit, then we'll, basically turn it over to the building department once you get that all straightened out.
Understood?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I will second that. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Wojciak?
Yes.
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 2-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 5, 14616 Dewey Street. Frick?
How you doing, sir?
All right, Rick, 8008, West 146 Avenue, Cedar Lake.
Thank you. So, do you have an update for us on this?
I got my site plan, so I'm planning on, next week getting permits.
Okay,
I've been waiting on this all this time.
yeah.
So next week you can get the permits.
Yeah, so when do you, I mean, are you gonna try to set up an appointment with them to come in so they can look at everything, or what's your thoughts on that? I mean,
I got drawings and everything,
yeah,
application,
yeah. So I mean, they just,
Not everything, it'd be just,
Right.
to give us a,
building and tear down.
yeah, so that would be for your demo permit and your site plan. Okay.
Everything.
Well,
So Tony, would you, pretty much almost the same thing?
yeah, kind of the same, yeah, if he comes in and gets a permit and gets rolling, that's.
just defer another 30 and then, pending
Yeah,
his permits and with the building department.
yeah. So what we would probably do then is just defer for 30 days, you know, that way, similar to the last gentleman, you know, you come in, everything's satisfactory with the building department, then they would notify us, and then at the next meeting, we would just have it removed then from the list.
So, what is the process? Does it take a few meetings for them to approve permits and stuff?
7 to 10 days is what the girls typically say. So if everything's in order, we have everything we need, we can get through it fairly quick. If there's anything missing, contractor list or anything like that, then we'll
Right.
get that from you.
Okay, I mean, whatever, so if I get these permits and they're approved, then I don't have to come back?
Correct.
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay, and if there's a snag?
We would still want you to come back, and then we can work through it, just so there's communication, we know what's going on. You know, if there's, you know, if there's something like, maybe they need some more information that might not be in the site plan or stuff like that, you know, we'll, cross that bridge.
For another 30 days or.
Yeah.
Yeah. But right now, you're looking good. You go and talk to the building department.
This is what's holding me up, this right here.
You're golden.
I hope so.
All right,
All right, so
so,
I'm gonna make a motion that we defer this for, 30 days to property on Dewey there and, pending the building department, approval.
all right, I will second that. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wojciak?
Yes,
Mr. Teal?
Yes, motion carries 2-0. Thank you.
thank you, sir.
Okay. Moving on to potentially unsafe, item number 19110 West 142nd Avenue. This is the one that we issued a letter, prior to having an inspection done. We did this similar at the beginning of last year with the garage. Cheryl, you said we did, receive information from them, that they do have a signed contract with the
Yes.
demo company?
Yes, I have a copy here too.
Okay, so I would say for right now, it just stays there.
Please just leave it.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of these, continue this way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that way it, gets handled. So I say it still stays on potential unsafe until it's down, and then, we'll, cross that bridge when it's, you know, when we get there.
Sounds good.
Item 2, 13857 Huseman Street. That was the garage, right?
No, that was 100.
Oh, my bad, okay, my bad. I was thinking the garage one should have been, that was the 95 or 9405, I believe, or whatever the address was. 134th, that one is down.
Yes.
Yes, down, yeah.
Okay. The 13857 Huseman Street, this is the well house over in the ministries area.
Okay.
I sent you photos, I believe, Tony?
Somebody did some printed out pictures, ended up on my desk, but I had no idea what they were from.
Yeah.
You have the picture, I put in the packet.
Yeah, it's in here.
Yeah,
It looks like it's the missing door.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see it, Tony?
I'm just looking at, maps where it is, it's on the,
Here's like a thumb drive on it, Tom.
Yeah. Tim knows where this is at, right?
Yeah, it's not in the conference grounds at all.
No, it's
South of the conference grounds.
but it's in that subdivision area, right?
130,
I don't know how they
yeah,
fix it.
I mean, it's in between the,
It's
it's on the walking path, and it's in between the Wilkening and the Collins parcel, right on the walking path.
oh, so that's not in the ministries at all.
Is it an active
Not in the
well?
ministries, huh? It's an old, it used to be the subdivision, well house back in the day. There was two of them, one on the corner of 141st and then this one, but this one has since been abandoned, and if you look it up on the GIS, it's just a small little piece of property, like 16 by 16, that this well house sits on, that's just there.
And
There's
the
no
owner of the
operating
parcel
rights.
would be,
The what?
who, the owner of the parcel on GIS, what's it say?
I think that I don't know, I looked at it for a minute, but I was told that the association or whatever was giving that parcel to the Collins, and then I heard that there was some dispute about that, so I don't know if it's still the HOAs or the Collinses. But it is completely, I always thought it was partially halfway on the Wilkenings and halfway on the Collins, but it's right on the property line of, the whole thing is, in line with the Collins property, I guess you'd say.
And there's nothing functioning in there at all?
Nope,
It's just a
it's just
brick
a-
structure that looks like it's fallen down?
The big structure, it doesn't look like it's fallen down really, it's a bomb shelter. If there was a tornado, that's where I'd wanna go.
Is there anything that we could do with it? Short of a bomb?
I mean, I would imagine you could put a new door in there and use it as a shed, or you can tear it down, I mean. I know that Mr. Collins wanted to tear it down a couple of years ago when he was doing his addition, he had equipment and stuff out there, and the neighbors did not want to affect the drainage, and there was kind of a neighborhood dispute, and, they said, okay, we're just gonna leave it, so.
And that is that address kind of correct, Huseman Street, or?
Yes, it should be.
Yeah. 138.
Oh, okay. I was trying to locate it before, and I figured I'd just wait till the meeting, so now I can see that's that little,
Little 12 by 12 thing?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's shown in
Yeah, you can see that little.
Colin's backyard, it's a little 12 by 12.
that little 12 by 12 square.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right off the walking path and it's right there.
Yeah, and in clicking on it, it is labeled under Collins.
Right.
So, I guess since this is on potential, we could probably send them something and see, at least getting it secure. I don't see, this was the only photo that was sent to me, this side, so I don't know what the other three look like, 'cause, of course, without, accessing the property with permission, All right. So I think we just try to contact them and then,
Yeah, it's not on our property, right?
right, it's not in the walking path, it looks like it, according to GIS, it's clearly on their parcel.
Yeah, so maybe we can just get it secured a little bit and call it a day.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Under permit and, Tony, did you have any more info on the 14714 Dewey? I thought the last time I spoke to you, there was,
Mr. Linda's here,
okay,
but I believe he sold the property.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. I did speak to the new owners.
I did though.
I don't know how much we wanna go back and forth here, you want me to come up to the podium, or what you wanna do?
basically.
Well, I mean, if it's sold, does Mr. Linden even need to come up, or do you just explain it yourself? Because I mean, you know, just for the record, I know you and I have had conversation on this.
I was told there was an agreement that they're giving him 60 days to get his possessions out,
Okay.
from whenever the sale was. So, that's what I know. They plan to demo it down to the foundation and rebuild from there.
So recommendation, just still leave it on here until that time is done and...
I'd say so, yeah. It's at least, it's some sort of movement, so, I'm confident that they're, you know, barring any catastrophic situations, that they're gonna move forward with it.
Okay.
So, hopefully they do.
So it'll remain on there until...
Tony, have you talked to the new owners about the foundation itself? Like, do you know if it's okay, so we don't have the situation we had with the first individual?
They have planned on doing work to the foundation as well.
Okay.
They were in contact with Don's Foundation Repair, in regard to that foundation. They've worked with him in the past, and they said if any work needs to be done in there, they're gonna get it taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so that'll stay on there. 7105 and 7109, I've still been getting updates on there with showing there's still nothing, set. Someone was, looking into that, and actually, I tried reaching out to them. They called the building department. I was not successful in getting a call back from them. But, I mean, I only tried once, I wasn't gonna keep trying. So those two will still remain on. The demo orders on those, Ryan, those are
They
still...
expire, I was just kinda wondering that. I don't recall when they were entered. Was it last year?
Yeah, so at least a year, you know, would still be a year remaining.
Yeah, there's 2 years on a demo order, so,
Yeah.
you know, there may well come a point in time where you guys will have to make the decision on whether you want to execute on those orders or not, because if they elapse after 2 years, you'd have to restart the entire process.
Yeah.
Which means all the money you spent on title work and all the time would just be
So
gone in the wind.
realistically, we should really start being concerned 6 months prior to that.
I mean, depending upon what the schedule is for getting the equipment out there and actually demoing the property, certainly
Well,
I think 6 months would give you enough time.
I guess I'm saying for legal side, your portion of it, whatever we have to do.
We're done.
Okay.
Right? The only question is when and whether the town would execute on that order. Right?
Okay.
The orders are recorded. Remember, the reason we did that was to put future potential buyers on notice that it was the subject of an unsafe building order.
Yes.
So all the legal stuff is done.
Okay.
It's just a question on the execution of that order, in other words, the town bringing the equipment in and knocking it down.
Which I guess that if that's the case, then I would at least like to have more contact with the homeowner for the severity of it then, prior to just going and tearing it down, even though I understand how the demo order works, but just so they're fully aware that they don't go out there one day and the house is gone. I don't wanna do anything that way.
Maybe if we get to a year from the entry of those orders, you bring them back in and say, look, like a year's passed, the clock is ticking, right?
Yeah.
Movement needs to occur on your end, otherwise we're gonna have to go in and knock the properties down, you know, in the next 3, 4, 5 months, whatever.
Do you want to wait a year, or just give them a little nudge now and just say, hey, this is coming?
He has been in contact with me prior to the meetings and stuff like that, on listings and stuff like that, so, I would feel more comfortable, like, you know, after a year to say, hey, you know, clock's ticking now, you know, you're halfway through and there's been no...
2 years,
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he marketing them together, do you know?
The last I knew, they were separate, but then I thought at one point someone was trying to purchase them both, but
No.
then nothing, so. So we'll just try to keep that, I'll go back through my notes and see when all that was final and,
Seems like it was late summer last year, is kind of what I'm thinking.
yeah. Okay. All right, well, we'll move on to 7308 West 138th Place. That one, I know that there was a agreement, I spoke with a potential, buyer. I know that one did not go through, but I thought somebody else was interested in it. I have not had an update since last I spoke with them. This was pretty much in the same time frame, I believe, Ryan, that we did the demo.
Yeah, they were nearly identical.
Okay, so same.
Same, yeah.
I do believe that this one is in a little bit better shape though than the other two. Yeah, so we'll just keep that on there. Oh, there's the 7605, yeah.
There it is.
Now that one's gone, so we could probably just remove that from the list, Tony, you said it just needs to be seated?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So would you feel that we should probably leave it on there until it's seated, or?
I don't think so, it's under, I mean, there was no unsafe report on it, it really was, it was just a potential unsafe and they got the letter, so.
Yeah, and I'm personally good with that for the fact that it's down.
It's gone, sure.
You know, no debris there anymore, I've seen the photos and stuff, so.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll just, we wouldn't need to make a motion since it was never on the thing, right, Ryan?
Correct.
We could just remove it, so Cheryl, if you could just remove that for the next time? Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, I'm just looking back to my notes, it looks like the demo orders on the Cagnina property were July, August-ish of last year. So, we're a few months away from the 1-year anniversary coming up.
Okay, yeah, we'll just keep an eye on it, and then maybe, you know, next time he sends me an update, I'll just, you know, relay that info to him that we're gonna need to, you know, maybe get a little more serious on it. Okay. Item number 6, under permit, the 13026 Fulton Street. Tim, do you have an update on it, or?
You want me to come back up there?
Yes, please.
Might as well.
Get your steps in today.
I haven't walked at all, so that's good. Tim Kubiak, 9080 West 129th Place, Cedar Lake. That one is on the ground, tore down. It's been kind of a slow go now, but there's a lot of big oak trees in there where we've been filling like one dumpster, they come and pick it up, bring it back. And another one, I think we're on dumpster number 5. They brought an empty one, dumped it today, so, it'll be done by the next meeting, so, everything's going smooth.
Okay, so,
I don't see any, I mean.
30 days or just?
It'll be done. and-
well, we wouldn't even need to make a motion because it's under permit, so it'll just stay on the list
Yeah,
until,
permit until it's closed out, but yeah, so it should be, I would anticipate as long as we don't have any monsoons, we have it wrapped up before the next meeting, so.
Don't jinx us.
It's gone, right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, we don't need
Never
that.
say never, because then it gets too muddy and you can't get it in there, so it kind of, but it's going, so.
Okay.
It should be ready.
Cool, thank you. Update item 7303 West 129th Fouch. Still moving along with that, right, Tony? Just
Yep.
slow?
Yeah. It looked like he'd done a little bit of work out there, so it's, he's doing his thing.
Yeah. I'm trying to refresh what we discussed with the last time as far as leaving it on versus taking it off.
Like Ryan said, it can hang out down there, it's not hurting anything, so.
Yeah,
Okay,
and that's more so just the monitoring moving forward mechanism. They're not ordered to appear or anything like that, it's just in case something happens and the board needs to bring them back.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we do that.
yeah, okay. And then the 13713 Parish, were they gonna be on plan commission today, did we know?
No.
They're not?
They're still just doing their plan.
Yeah, I thought they were, so that'll remain the same.
Renditions.
6599 Fernwood Mogan. Ryan?
I think that's the one that was demoed, as we reported before. The claim for those costs were filed in the estate proceeding for Mr. Mogan. Claim was never objected to, so we just kind of wait and see, and once the estate is liquidated, then they gotta pay the claims before they distribute it, so we'd be in line to get the money so long as Mr. Mogan had some other assets, which we know he did because at least one of the other properties was sold that was on this agenda, so.
What kind of time frame typically does this, years?
I mean, it really kind of depends upon what they all have to liquidate. Most estates should probably fairly easily be done within a year, but some are more complex than others. I don't know anything about his estate.
Yeah, and I would imagine if there's no objections, it would be sooner than ones with objections.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. It also depends upon what other assets are out there. If there's, significant obligations or other lien holders you have to deal with. But the last time I checked, we were the only ones that filed a claim in that estate. And I think that claims period is now elapsed. I can probably find that relatively easily. If you wanna pass this one, I can see if I can find you the answer for some of that.
Item 6, West 127th Lane, Town of Cedar Lake. Dave, we did have, 2 appraisals. How soon are we with, getting all that stuff situated for the 2 interested parties that were adjacent?
It's in process in our office.
Yeah.
I can't give you the date you want, like tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah.
But it's in process, and there's a lot of them, actually.
Yeah.
This is among them.
Yeah. Okay. And then the 14324 Edison, that's the other town parcel here, just north of 144th. I know I'd like to see that one coming down soon. I was actually, doing some thinking last night after the council meeting. I don't know if this would be a legal question, if the CBDG money, if Tim Brown mentioned that some of the funds could be used for Unsafe, is this something that an Unsafe board would do, like a formal request for some of those funds to tear this, use some of the funds to tear this down? I had some thoughts earlier last year for this parcel, because this was part of the trail system at one point, or plans for. It's basically east of the creek over there, high up on a hill, and I always thought it'd be nice to see this go to, be turned over to Parks Department, and maybe if we could get the house tore down there, and Parks could put up a shelter or something like that in the future, but would that be something that we would kind of put a request in, Dave, or what's your thoughts on that?
There are a lot of questions in that comment.
Yes.
So let's start at jurisdiction. The monies come to the town of Cedar Lake.
Yes.
So if there's a project that qualifies, unsafe sidewalks, infrastructure, ADA, whatever that might be, the town council would authorize the request for retrieval of monies or withdrawal of monies for that. The town council could assign and could transfer to the Unsafe Commission the funds necessary for some identified project that matches what is either available or is we're prepared as a town to pay and match and complete. So I'm thinking I wrapped it together in that answer, but the funds can be available. It's a matter of a little process, and yes, they can be used for your Unsafe Commission.
Yeah, and I did speak with, Tim earlier today about it, if we can get some type of an estimate on what he would think it would basically cost the town to tear it down, knowing that it is town parcel, but even if it wasn't the full amount, I know there's plenty, in the fund, if it were to even maybe split it with CBDG, would that be in a form of a letter request, or not get that formal on it?
Tim Brown said we could drive over to his office and request it and get it. He made it that simple.
Yeah.
So I think it's a pretty simple process. from their perspective as well as ours. Not a lot of brain surgery going into a withdrawal request.
Okay.
How big is it?
Probably more, I'm sorry, Joe, probably more work in explaining the intended use than there is in anything else related to it.
Okay, okay.
How big is the house? I haven't seen it.
I don't know what the square footage is
I
on
mean, is
it,
it something
but,
that our public works could take care of and then just,
well, that's why I asked Tim, because
And-
Tim tore down the 127th, the ward, and so we tried to do it internal.
Yeah.
Because, prior to you being on the board, I did reach out and get a few estimates from, some companies and stuff, and by far cheaper, to have Tim do it.
I would like to see the CDGB money used for sidewalks and try and do that with town funds. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah. It was just an idea, you know, I was just kicking things around last
good idea
night.
with the, giving it to the parks, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, we should probably, if you guys are wanting to tear that down, we should probably do it sooner than later before the vegetation takes hold, because it's probably only about a 4 dumpster house, cause it's not finished inside and there's not a lot there. But the problem is getting it out of there because of, we've probably gotta cut down 30 trees to get back there because there's no clear, there's
Right.
certain needs, you've gotta go across that creek and then,
Well, you would come in from the east, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But there's that ravine through there, so you can't just take a dumpster back there, so.
Right.
That's the hard part. So, I was thinking that before when I looked at it, I was thinking if I can get a dumpster over there to the road, I can drag the dumpster back there, fill it up, and then bring it back, but it's gonna be.
You don't think it would be too wet right now in the spring, or?
It's hard to say without.
Probably easier to take the trees down now though, right?
Well, at least I can start getting a game plan to do it, but, it's gonna be very hard to determine a number and then when we try to do stuff like that, to try to get those funds from the CBDG and then put it back into the public work fund, or to pay, we have some dumpsters on, so it's probably better just to say, let's get it done, let's plan on, that'll be our thing, we're gonna get done this year, tore down and get it done.
Yeah, I definitely wanna see that, and I'll get with Jen to see what we actually still have in the funds, because I know with the other ones that were down, it did take away from some of the funds that were in there.
And we don't get those funds till September.
Yeah.
And we get the dumpsters, we've got the dumpsters through our, Republic, contract, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Right, but we can only do, we already did a few demos this year, and our contract's up at the end of May, so.
Yeah.
I gotta check and see where we are, that's pretty much how we do every one that we do for the year, so.
Yeah, that is how we, with the Hilltop one, Tim informed me on how many dumpsters we had left if there was one to come down, so. Okay, well, I guess if you wanna at least just start looking into, like I said, on what's it gonna take and how soon and all that fun stuff.
I'm just getting a new paint shop on the 160, and you don't want me to go in the woods, that's not a good thing.
So do it before that. Right? Is that what you're saying? Tomorrow?
It's in the shop right now, but yeah.
Okay.
We'll clear out some trees first.
So a couple of things, I looked it up, the estate was opened in September of last year. It is an unsupervised estate, which means the court is relatively hands-off unless something changes. So basically what presumably the estate attorneys are currently doing is they are identifying what assets Mr. Mogan owned. They're gonna work to liquidate them, and then ultimately they'll have to pay the claims and distribute the estate. So no reason in a standard situation it should take much more than a year. Nothing else has been filed. They recently-ish filed a proof of publication showing that they gave notice of the world of the opening of the estate. Obviously, we knew of it, we filed our claims, and there was actually 2 that were filed for the town. One was this one, another related to an ambulance bill. Those are the only claims I've seen filed in this particular estate, and more than 90 days have passed since the publication occurred. So, I think we're the only 2 claims that are out there, so we just kind of sit by and wait for the money eventually.
Okay.
whenever that may be.
Yeah.
You did, while I was looking that up, I know you skipped over items 4 and 5 under updates. Both of those were the sworn statements that we filed previously. Tony signed them, I believe, back in December, right around Christmas. We filed a request with the court last week to enter judgments on both of those items. The court has not responded yet. Orders have not been entered, but that should be the next step. Now, sometimes judges will want to set these for hearing because they don't exactly understand the mechanisms of the unsafe building statute, but nobody's ever appeared, nobody's objected to it. So the final step is just getting the judgment, then they act as judgment liens against the property for the next 10 years, and then you guys and or the town council can make that determination as to whether you want to pursue foreclosure litigation on those properties to get the money back, and then we can actually collect on that judgment.
Okay.
Those are my updates.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving on to public comment for unsafe buildings. Any public comment for unsafe? Third call? Anybody online? Doesn't look like it. All right, the next meeting will be May 21st at 5:30 PM. This meeting is adjourned at 6:16 PM.